Hello. It's been eventful. Um, so I'm home, and I think I did a video as we were leaving, just before we were leaving to go to the Lake District. It's been, yeah, it hasn't gone according to plan, really. However, I'll tell you what happened. We got a good run, actually, considering it was a Friday afternoon. We didn't get hit by any particular traffic, a few slow bits, but nothing major. And we got to the Lake District probably around about 7 o'clock at night, maybe a bit later. John had taken on sat-nav responsibilities, and he typed in Scafell, Pike, Wasdale Head, which Wasdale Head was where we were going. That was the start point of the climb. Unfortunately, the sat-nav decided that Scafell Pike was the destination, not Wasdale Head. So we're in the lakes, and I'm kind of just looking outside the window as we're going along, and I'm thinking, this is going up and up and up. Why are we going up? Turns out that the sat nav had taken us to what is on its database. Scafell Pike was nowhere near Wasdale Head. On top of that, John's van, some of the climb was ridiculous, like 35, 40 degrees even. And the van was not struggling, but it obviously put a lot of pressure on the engine. When we got to the place that the sat nav called Scafell Pike, our destination, we were 3/4 of the way up a mountain, and there was nothing there. We were in the middle of nowhere. So we then had to try and find some reception, and I typed in Wasdale Head, and we were 16 miles and 50 minutes away from it. So we drove the 16 miles. It took about 45, 50 minutes, and there's a lot of, it's just all narrow lanes really in the lakes, and we passed a really kind of narrow point which had a hand-built stone wall right by, very close to the passenger door, and I happened to have the window open, was probably smoking a fag, and I heard some tapping from the engine. And I'm not a mechanic, but I grew up around cars. My dad was a car dealer, so I said to John, "Does your," because it's a 2 litre diesel engine. They never sound very graceful, but I asked him if his engine kind of made that clicking noise, and he said he couldn't hear it. But then it got worse. So it was a problem, because now I'm worried about the van, John's worried about the van. Bear in mind, 6 weeks ago he had a new reconditioned engine fitted. It should go on for transit van engine, 200,000 miles, so it's a bit of a problem. Anyway, we got to Wasdale Head. We decided to see how things looked in the morning, and we went to sleep. And I had a fucking awful night's sleep in the back of John's van, but we got up. I was up at 5 o'clock, and we left to do the climb at before 6, about 5:45, I think. The weather was bad. A lot of low cloud. It looked, as it was getting light, it didn't look well. And just, I'm going to come to why this is the first video that I've done, but bear with me. There'd probably be 2 videos here. So we set off. The weather was shit. It was freezing cold. The wind was whipping. It was miserable. It really was. And we got to the top in 2 hours 25 minutes. John's gets his march on, and I was not struggling to keep up, but I would have preferred a slightly gentler pace. I think I did it in around about just shy of 3 hours last time. Anyway, we got to the top. I did a video. I took some photos on the way up, but it was grey and miserable. They were, you know, I tried. Did a few videos on the way up, which were difficult because the weather was shocking. We were absolutely drenched by the time we were a quarter of the way up the mountain. I mean, my waterproof jacket, it works, but I didn't have waterproof trousers because it wasn't raining when we left. So I decided to just wear tracksuit bottoms with shorts on underneath. It was rotten. It was so cold, and I was soaked to the bone, top to bottom. My waterproof boots were soaked inside because we had to cross a mountain stream that's part of the climb. There's been a lot of rain there lately. The mountain stream was, there wasn't enough rocks that were protruding enough to not get wet. So we carried on, but we were both cold, wet and miserable. We got to the top. I did a very quick video for about a minute, and then I noticed that my phone was, the video as I was doing it, the picture went all blurred. So I thought, okay, well, you know, it's been in and out because we've been using my GPS to stay on track. And it's got a bit damp, but it did that last time and it was fine. Anyway, so down the mountain we came, which was awful because every rock was wet. It was slippery as hell. We were slipping and sliding. John fell over once, I fell over once. It was hard, but what happened for John was he really, really badly aggravated both his knees, which are, he has trouble with his knees. It didn't affect him with Ben Nevis, but this is very different. Coming down Scafell Pike in the wet, you're constantly planting your foot but not moving anywhere. So it's because gravity and momentum will just take you. So it's tricky, and it's a lot of pressure on certainly your feet and your knees, probably your hips as well. I could see that he was hurting within 20 minutes of us starting to go down, and it just got worse and worse and worse. So by the time we got to the bottom, my phone wasn't working very well. I couldn't hook into any roaming data. The buttons, the touch screen wasn't working brilliantly. The truth of it is, it just kind of carried on from there. I did do a video when we got down and we went to the Wasdale Head Inn for a warm-up and change of clothes because we were drenched. It took me 2 hours to not, I mean, I was literally shivering the whole most of the way up the mountain and all of the way down. I was there. It was rotten, but we did it, and it was enjoyable because we did it. It was an achievement. But I'm just going to finish this video and carry on with another one. Hold on.